Straight ahead on CCX News, remembering a fallen leader after an assassin targets local lawmakers, killing Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shannon Slatton. As CCX News went to air on Monday, the investigation continued into the killer's plan. That plan included the suspect, Vance Belter, impersonating a police officer and stopping at the homes of 4 lawmakers, all here in the Northwest Metro. Allegedly, Belter first went to the home of Senator John Hortman, where he and his wife were shot multiple times. Then he reportedly went to the Maple Grove home of Representative Kristen Bonner. When no one answered, there are reports he traveled to the New Hope home of Senator Ann Rest, where a New Hope officer spotted Belter's fake police vehicle before the suspect drove off. About an hour later, the accused assassin ended up at Representative Melissa Hortman's Brooklyn Park home. CCX News has team coverage of Hortman's death. Sarah Allen is at the Capitol, where there is a growing memorial. Delane Cleveland has more on her career, but first we start with Emily Haugen with more on how she's being remembered. Emily?
Shannon, I'm here at City Hall, where flags are half-staffed, just like the rest of the state, in honor of Melissa Hortman's legacy. Today, I spoke with some of her colleagues about her memory. They said they were honored to speak about her. Outside Brooklyn Park City Hall is a tribute to one of its own. After Melissa and Mark Hortman's death, a somber feeling hangs in the air.
Our world is much better because she was here.
Brooklyn Park Mayor Hollis Winston knew Hortman before she ever ran for office.
So I know her from even before being in politics, right? I know her as just a neighbor who really cared about the kids.
Once Hortman was elected in 2004, Winston says she helped build up Brooklyn Park and the state.
You know, this is a huge blow to not just Brooklyn Park, the entire state, the country, because, you know, this is someone who is so smart and empathetic. They just made it seem all casual, right?
Hortman's colleague, Representative Mike Freiberg of Golden Valley, saw a similar spark.
She's one of our sharpest, most hardworking members.
He met her when she first ran for office. Later, he worked by her side in the House. He says beyond the political accomplishments, she reduced lawmakers' typically long, grueling hours so people could go home.
She really just emphasized kind of the humanity of us, I feel like, as legislators, because a lot of people don't see elected officials that way.
Freiberg says her legacy will last.
For as accomplished and capable as she was, she was just very unassuming if you just talk to her one-on-one, and funny, so I'll just really miss that about her.
In Brooklyn Park, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
Representative Melissa Hortman's political legacy is described as an unflashy leader who got the job done. Delane Cleveland joins us now with that angle.
Shannon, one of Melissa Hortman's Republican colleagues called her the most impactful Speaker of the House in Minnesota history. We look back on her legislative career.
I therefore declare Representative Hortman duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Many around Minnesota remember Melissa Hortman as a fearless legislative leader who fought for DFL priorities.
One of the ways we can get more workers back into the workforce is to make sure that everyone has paid family and medical leave.
But before becoming one of the state's most influential lawmakers,
we have to look at forms of transportation that are more efficient.
She was a young candidate from Brooklyn Park who wanted what's best for her constituents.
We need somebody with a very strong personality who's willing to lead a team of North Metro legislators across party lines, Democrats and Republicans working together.
5 months after that interview, voters elected her to her first term in the House after 2 prior defeats. It's where she stayed for the next 20 years.
Just a few days ago off this House floor.
In the 2017 session, she rose to the ranks of House Minority Leader.
I want the Republicans who are in charge of the legislature to be successful over the next 2 years, because if they're successful, then Minnesotans will be successful.
2 years later, she was named House Speaker. It's a position she held for 6 years until she relinquished the role this past winter with the state House in a tie.
I think that there will be an opportunity for us to show Minnesotans some good bipartisan working together and getting things done.
They needed a special session, but eventually they did get things done.
I'm pleased that we had a smooth and bipartisan day.
Her final act in a career cut short. Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
And at the state capitol, people are grieving over the tragic events. Reporter Sarah Allen is there where a memorial has grown.
Hi, Shannon. I am standing outside the Capitol near the makeshift memorial, and you truly can feel the sense of somberness and see the collective grief as Minnesotans have left behind their deepest condolences.
It's unspeakable that this happened.
The unspeakable events of this weekend have sent shockwaves through the state.
It doesn't feel real, and I think we all are living a horror movie.
Bringing many here to pray, remember, and grieve. Olivia Hitchcock-Willis worked at the Capitol as a legislative assistant.
I think I needed to grieve and to see how many other people care about the people that we work with and work for.
The signs, flowers, and other mementos display the sorrow being felt, but also express gratitude for Representative Hortman.
We just came to share some love and show our respect to Speaker Hortman.
Jessica DeWorth left a shirt from the gun violence prevention organization she's a part of.
Speaker Hortman was a champion of our bills. She was a gun safety champion, and we really wouldn't have gotten those reforms passed without her energy and her leadership.
For former Representative Hunter Cantrell, Hortman was a friend and mentor.
She was somebody who had such a profound impact on me and who I respected with every fiber of my being.
Cantrell says he wanted to pay his respects along with the rest of the state that is grieving.
Words can't describe just the depth of sorrow that I feel and that I know so many of us feel. So many people loved and adored her and Mark.
And we are following this story. We have more coverage on this story at ccxmedia.org.
After losing their state tournament opener to Stillwater, the Maple Grove girls lacrosse team beat Elk River Zimmerman to advance to the consolation final. Jay Wilcox has highlights.
The Maple Grove girls lacrosse team facing Orono in the consolation final Saturday. Orono on the move as Alex Paulson sends it to Riley Teal ahead of the defense to score as the Spartans get on the board first. About 40 seconds later, Jade Isaacson to Olivia Walseth to Isaacson to Hadley Kudla for a goal. Great passing for the Crimson, and it's 1-1. Late in the first, Walseth speeding in. She turns the corner and switches hands to score a buzzer beater. Maple Grove is up 2-1 after one. Second quarter, and Sosie Van Wyk goes to the net from the left side, and it's off the goalie and in for a 3-1 Crimson lead midway through the quarter. Taylor Sukup to Van Wyk, and then unselfishly over to Riley Dunn in front for the goal, and the Crimson lead is 4-1. But Orono closes strong. Alex Christian to Dylan Collins for her second in a row, and Orono's within 4-3 at halftime. After Orono ties it, Van Wyk goes low from the free position to score, and Maple Grove is back in front 5-4. Kudla races hard to the net and then drops it off to Lillian Iverson for the goal, and tight, and it's 6-4 Crimson. Van Wyk gets it to Dunn, who makes a nice catch, spins, and goes low with the shot to make it 7-4. It's 8-4 Crimson after 3. After Maple Grove burns some time, the Spartans storm back. Teal catches and scores to make it 8-6 with 2:46 left. Collins scores from the free position for her third of the game. The Spartans score 3 goals in about 45 seconds. They're within 8-7. But Maple Grove gets possession and spreads the field, leading to Dunn's insurance goal late. Maple Grove ends the season on a high note with a 9-7 win over Orono to take the consolation title. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
We'll get a warm-up in temperatures this week as the summer fishing season heats up too. Here's Terry Tuma with his weekly fishing tip.
Live bait rigging for walleye is extremely productive, providing that you're using the proper length of the snell. And just to give you an idea, what I personally do is I use fire line or a braided line for the main line, and then from there attach a swivel, and then use a fluorocarbon line. And generally speaking, I'll use 8-pound test for the fluorocarbon line because of the visibility factor and the sensitivity. But along with that too, I do prefer a 7-foot rod under these kind of conditions with a spinning reel again. And then when you're talking about the rod and the reel setup, you always run that line alongside the boat and not way out, usually about 45-degree angle. And there's no sense in leaving way out until you've got real clear and shallow water. And what this does, you can bring that weight up off the bottom, just an inch or so, and then you'll be able to set the hook immediately and feel the bite. And then along with that too, is that I use a barrel swivel to connect the two lines together, and then you want to use a bead ahead of that barrel swivel for the weight itself. And the weight itself should be, again, either a bottom walking sinker, a barrel swivel, inline sinker, or chain sinker. And these are just going to be some of the few that we have the opportunity to use. And it does make a big difference.
The final state tournament of the Minnesota State High School League spring season is later this week. The one-day clay target state tournament is Friday at the Minneapolis Gun Club in Prior Lake. Team competition gets underway at 9 a.m. with individual competition at 1 o'clock. Wayzata was one of the teams in the field last year. That is all for sports. More CCX News after this.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.